Hello, my name is Jack and welcome back to my channel. We're doing a little bit of a different thing today. It's a bit of a test video, bit of a let's see if we can help out here. We're playing some Satisfactory and we want to look at a save that was sent to me by a Discord member called Labren. Labren? Labren. And we are basically, we have helped them. They have gotten the help they need. They couldn't get their power grid online. So, what we're going to look at is if we can help. But for helping, I need to enable this. So, what I kind of want to do is make a video showcasing how I troubleshoot and diagnose and everything for people who are troubled with everything from their fluids to dealing with nuclear waste to whatever it is. And I think this is the perfect save to start with. And I have a couple of, what do you call it? Addendums that we gotta go through before we get going. Okay, so our friend over here, Steven, and whoever else has been playing in this save, they have done their best. Let's see, if we go in here, we want flight mode, we want god mode, and we want no build cost. Make sure that we can mess around. Oh, nice statue. So if we look around, you can see that this is a world that is chaotic. But the big problem is that when we look, like nothing of this, like you can talk, please don't talk crap about the way it looks. It has nothing to do with the visual design, it has everything to do with this. So if this is a problem you have, we will see if we can help. So step number one is going to be, because I don't know anything about this world, other than the little things that I found last night when I checked it out. So what we first need to do is map out on the map, where is coal power, where is fuel power, where's the nuclear power located, so that we can properly do this. So that's step number one. So I will go through and I will fix that, and we'll see each other in for you a few seconds. For me, it's gonna take a little bit. Okay, so I have looked around now, and if we look on the map, I have marked where I could find power. So we have 2 fuel setups, we have 2 coal setups, and 1 nuclear setup. And my initial reaction to seeing the places is they seem very much like expanded as needed, and Labron has confirmed this. And that's like, I don't mind that, but there are some practices they have taken with it that makes me feel like I really need to establish like a very, very clear like set of like operating rules when you're making this kind of stuff. So people who are watching this who wants to make sure that they don't have to go around and mess with and troubleshoot this after the fact, take note, because these are gonna be like the rules. So now that we have found these places, number one, we need to go back to basics. So the first thing we're gonna do is look at the coal power plants and make sure that they are running and self-sustained and isolated from every other power network on the map. So we'll head over to the coal and we'll start doing that, and I'll show you what I mean. Alright, we are by the first coal power plant, and as you can see, this plant is running. So part of the network is up, it's just not everything, right? So this network is completely separated. It has a 1200 capacity, it's using 400 of that. So essentially, as far as I can tell, looking at this, it seems that this network is pretty much used to run this network, and this network only. So it goes in and it supplies itself, and it's self-sustaining, but otherwise isolated, as far as I can tell. Which is good, because it needs to be sustaining itself. So this place has, you see, no power cables are going out from here. Oh no, wait, it does down here. It does down here. It goes into a network that is off. Okay, so what we want to do here is we want to isolate. So with that, the entirety of this power network should be isolated unless they've connected it up over here as well. It does not seem so. And it does not seem like that over here. They are all running. They are all green. Right, so that's power network number 1. And let's look at the second coal power plant and see that we have isolated that one as well. Alright, so here we got another power network with coal generators. So on the map, I've marked this coal 2. And as you can see, this one is also running with some asterisks. Some stuff is turning on and off for some reason. It's because it's not getting water. So that's some stuff that we need to look at. And then we need to look at, let's see, do they have the same problem all over the place? Nope. Then we just gotta look at, is this connected to power outside of this? It does seem like it. Okay, so we need to find where it is connected to different factories and stuff, probably in here. And then we will head back to basics on this one as well. Alright, so let's start with disconnecting and isolating water and power. Okay, now everything is fixed in terms of isolating the system, so it's not connected to the outside world. It is literally just running itself. So now we need to look at these two, because they are not getting enough water. Why are they not getting enough water? They are making 45, they need 45 per minute. And we can see that there is definitely like water coming in. It is definitely flowing in 600. Nope, that's dropping drastically. So it's not able to keep up. Something's happening there. Well, and as you guys know, the easiest thing to do to keep the water flow up is like, first check is there like full pipe water here. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 times 120 with some downclocking is definitely over 600. Now a lot of the water is like taken up by these. 45 times 6. What's that? That is 240 plus 30. That's 270, right? Which means that these 3 supply all of that with this leaving some over. 372. And the ones up here, they need a collective 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. They need 360. And this pipe should be able to supply that, but it's not getting that. Why? Well, 1, you have 2 more over here, so suddenly they need another extra for like another 90 per minute, which means that we don't have enough water. So number 1, let's get you back up to speed so that you are running full blast. And then let's check, they have switched that out halfway. So as you can see, that one is connected correctly. It's not connected in the middle of the pipe. Half of it is, and over here you have this funny thing. This breaks pipes. So when you put in junctions like this on existing pipes, and the pipes looks like they merge in the middle, that can cause throttling issues. So we're basically going to switch out all the piping just to be safe. So I'm gonna do essentially this, make sure that everything runs, and we'll get it back to tippy-toppy shape. I'll be back. Alright, so we start very, very small here. I am just going to plant a power augmenter. These are really, really good for just kickstarting after you've done your troubleshooting. So both of these are turned off, right? And they're not connected to anything else, so this is very isolated. 120 per minute, they only need 90, so this is how it's set up. I'm taking this power and I'm plugging this in. As you can see, this is now turned on. It's going to start moving water, and as you can see, the pipes are isolated. They are not overlapping in any way. This is its own little power nub, so to speak. And it needs 20, it's going to make 150 So it's a net positive. This is what we want. If you really want to be really particular about it, I can go and press and make this 90. Oh, I remember. Now I need to press 90, enter. There we go. So what will happen now is it's going to be 100% effective. It's going to use less power. It uses 13.7 megawatts instead of 20. And like these are going to be turned off. I'm going to leave them for now. And I'm basically going to do a similar thing where I'm going to isolate the pipe system of each section so that they have their own power or water supply, because that's rule number 2. Do not overlap liquid systems ever. Run them as isolated and a small scale as you possibly can to avoid problems. So I'm going to do essentially what I've done here with this little example. I'm going to do with this, and these two over here, so that you have very clearly separated fluid systems that feed these coal generators. Alright, so as we can see, everything now is isolated. There is no, like, all of these are their own network. Production's paused on these still, I haven't turned them on yet. We're gonna do that together, but yeah, essentially every single network here acts as its own thing, so all of these are still on. All of these are, like, well done, they work, they are balanced, they are 100% effective. I'm not gonna touch them, other than the fact that I've isolated their power systems so that they're running as separate entities that we can then connect up together once they are functioning on an individual level. I did one system here where I remade it from the Mark II to the Mark I things, because one of the recommendations that I have is that at any given time when you have the option to use the Mark I pipes, use the Mark I pipes, because the Mark II pipes are a little bit unstable, and if there's any kind of problem, it will be like amplified by the fact that it is a Mark II belt. So completely rebuilt the belt layout here just as a showcase of that, more or less, with the pumps and everything installed. So essentially what we do is we can now just turn on one of the systems, or one of them. So now you can see that is running 75 and it's running stable, right? Then what we do is we turn on the second one. Boom. Now, with this being perfectly 90 per minute, it's going to just run stable, and this is an important note. If it runs stable and doesn't shut down, you won't have fluctuation aside from that second where it takes the water. You can see that here it stays full and it's perfect, perfectly balanced with the water. So 100% effective water usage, separate water systems. Now this system is running stable, it's going to keep running at 150, nothing's going to change that. Now let's go here. This is a solid 8, this is 6, this is like technically 8 if you count the two of them, but 6 here, 2 there. So all of them are set up as like multiples by 8. So it's 8 times 2, 8 times 2, and then you have 8 times 2. Meaning that you have 16, 32, what is that, 48? It would be, yep, 48. So now what we can do over here is we can turn this on. And because now that like these systems are interconnected with, like, or connected with its 3 pumps, it will run stable. 75, and that's all the power it needs. Well, not all, but now we can turn on the second one. Boom, giving us 150, running immediately stable. Perfect, right? And then if we just keep going down this line, we keep feeding. Boom, like so. We're gonna have a stable, easy 600 megawatts, or should be 600 megawatts. There we go, 525, and then the final bit here, boom, ta-da, 600 megawatts. And then we do the same down here. It's gonna get 450. Oh, I clicked twice. Yeah, it's because I clicked twice. There we go. Now it runs. There we go. There we go. Stop clicking twice. There we go. Just turning everything on. And for the sixth one, now we have a stable 450. So with that over there, we have another 600. So that's 1200 megawatts. Now we have 600 there in this, right? 600. We have 600 over here. Yep. And we have 600 over here. Yep. And we have 600. As you can see, consumption goes down a little bit, like but the production and capacity stays the same. Same thing over here. Now we have a functioning power setup. Now we need to prep it for output, and that's what we're going to do. So as we see, now all the power is connected in here. In total consumption 441, and a capacity of 3,600, and it is running perfectly stable, just purring along, no problems. And then over here, I've pulled this up to a priority power switch that goes into the main power grid. As you can see, max consumption 54,000, which is that. We're not going to reset that fuse. What we did here, however, is set up coal 2 in the circuit priority. That is priority number 1. Coal has to run, power has to run above all else. So now that this is running, and this is completely isolated, it doesn't touch that facility. That needs to be its own priority power switch going in later. For now, we're going to build and fix the second coal power plant. And now that I've done this one, I'm not going to show the second one, but I'm going to fix it, and we'll be back once that's done. Alright, the coal power plant 2 has been fixed. It's not as fixed as, or like, there was a lot, like, this was one, sorry. Here's a comprehensive thing. This one didn't need as much love as the one up the cliff up there, or over there. However, there was a few problems with this section where it didn't get enough liquid. It needed 495, was only getting 480. So I have fixed that with some overclocking. That was about it. And then like making sure that everything was wired up. And now it is connected out into the rest of the world. So still not turn it on, right? I don't want to, not yet. And if we look in here, the priority is now set up. So we have coal 1, which is this plant, and then coal 2 is the one up the cliff. And now we're going to head over to the fuel power plant and take a good look at what's going on over there. All right, we are here now. Let's go through and check out the same things here. We have a lot of refineries all over the place. You can see over there, we got some stuff. I'm guessing they're making compacted coal over there. So they're making turbo fuel. They have a copper plant up here for some reason, making ammo. Yeah, we kind of need to separate and isolate out the systems here. There's fuel being made over there. Black powder over there. Okay, so they have a weapons manufacturer, smokeless powder. Yeah, they have a bunch of different things over here that uses oil, but what we want to do is make sure that the fuel power is completely separated from the rest of the grids, and then that it is using the correct systems and everything. So yeah, like here we see, like this is a rubber thing. And then that rubber also makes heavy oil residue that is making fuel that they then burn in a array of fuel power plants. So yeah, we kind of want to make sure that, okay, this one just makes heavy oil residue that is then being made into fuel over here. Yep, and then it goes over here and it's burned. So we have 3 different like types of fuel setups, and we got to make sure that all of them works. So one of the major problems when it comes to these, like this specific grid, is that so many of the power nodes are interconnected where it shouldn't be. So, for example, I've found places where it looks like this, and there is no switch in between the systems. Like there happens to be over here by the fuel, they've done somewhat well. I feel like they probably built the coal power plants and everything, and they learned, and then they moved on to this, and now we see a more advanced thing. Let's remember there's 4 people in this world as well, and for those who've played multiplayer, you know that it is notoriously difficult to keep a world organized when you have 4 different creative minds trying to do their best and put their style and their flair on things, and one of them don't care and the other do about the visual, and like, yeah, there's always like something that messes with cooperation and like uniformity and like all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I'll go through this system and we'll see what we can find and how we can fix it. So I'll be back in a second. Alright, so I've been doing a lot of like off-camera work, specifically because it's like a ton of off-camera work. So as you can see over here, one of the big rules, like if we take rule number 1, is always have every single system of power generation isolated and self-sustaining before you connect it up to anything else. Rule number 2 is you don't place a power tower and don't have a priority power switch in between the power tower and the power network. This has no use at all, right? Like connecting 3 cables into this. It should go to a power pole at best, like this, right? Now that's not needed here at all because this is part of the nuclear power network, and that has an entirely different thing that it needs like taken care of. Let's see, there was a third cable down there. Boom. And then these can go, and then there needs to be a priority power switch over here, right? That goes from there to there, there to there, there. Anytime you come off a power tower, because the power towers are supposed to be your primary mode of transporting electricity throughout the world, unless you're using railways, in which case the same rule applies for the railway. From a power tower to a priority switch that is named, you can see that I've been working on this, separating out all the small little factories and stuff like that. And this switch would also be going in here. The thing is, that's not needed here at all. None of this is connected, should be connected to this at all. For the specific reason that this is part of the nuclear power network. And it's getting its power from this because it's connected through the railway over to the nuclear power. So this is something like I literally have to be over here on the map, as you can see, to isolate what we're doing over here in terms of power, because this needs to be part of the self-sustaining thing to move the sulfuric acid that is being produced over here. So the power transfer from here, this looks cool. This is nice. Very nice, very nice, very nice. And up here, like, I don't think this is even connected properly, or they have like cheated it in or something. No, but like this here, get rid of that. Like, it has no use whatsoever. It only models your systems and makes it so that you're going to make mistakes. And you're going to accidentally circumvent your switches, as in your power priority system, and it's going to cause problems for you down the line. Guaranteed. Now, once again, I can understand there's more than one person playing on the save. Some people have a meh, it works approach. Other people have a okay, everything has to be meticulously planned approach. And both of those have to kind of like get to exist at the same time. You kind of have to live and let live when it comes to that. Otherwise, you're just gonna like end friendships. But when it comes to power, when it comes to liquids, when it comes to like moving things on belts, like you can see here, like no one's gonna come here and go like and put in a junction and start pulling off like liquids to a different area because they know that this power, like this water, is needed over here. So why, oh why, would you do that with power? Because that's just another resource that you're moving around. So that's why it's super important to make sure that your systems are isolated. So because of that, I'm just going to continue doing this and fixing this before we continue on with the other fuel production facility and the nuclear power facility. Because even if we fix everything else, if we can't start everything up properly, because like particle accelerators start using too much power, and because all of them is going to start at the same time now, they're going to be maxing out the power usage, and they don't have any battery arrays. Like there's some things, but we're getting there. We're like, there's a path forward. Everything's improving. I just need to spend the time it takes to sort out their power network. Be right back in a second. All right, so there might be like a few minors and few like smaller things, like smaller like processing setups and stuff that I've missed, but we have actually fixed it so that now the max consumption is down to 1328 or 1329 if you round up a little bit. Then we only have like the power places to actually fix it, because if we go in here now, we have a few places left to like set up and make sure that they work, and this place being one of them. Now everything here should work. All I'm going to do, because that's who I am, is I'm going to go in and I'm going to turn all of these off, because this place should just fire up. Everything is set up correctly over here. I've just isolated the power. This is the second fuel place. It's out in the Spire Coast. So if I just fix all of this, right, turn off all of them so that they can like store up. I'm gonna do this. But production's paused on everything. These are up and running, alright, but they shouldn't do a lot except for run these. So I'm gonna disconnect these. Essentially, these will then shut down. There's no power. And that's kind of the point, because now we want to look in here. And what I want to do is I want to first go boom, boom, boom. And go in and look. And as we can see in the top chart now, we have 13,150 power running. What was this? 13,900. Okay, something is running unstable right now in one of the factories. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to turn off, let's say, coal 2. Is the instability still there? That's what we're looking for. So we still have a little bit of instability. I'm gonna turn off coal 1. We dip a little bit more. This is also part of the troubleshooting processing, right? It's still looking a little bit unstable, which means that it's something to do with the fuel power over at fuel 1 on the Golden Coast. So that's something we want to look at. Let's start though with fixing the fuel power 2 here. So we're turning everything back on again. And let's look at what now happens. Is because this is not on, it will not send power in here. So I'm turning this on. Boom. These will start up. Very nice. On top of all of the other things, I'm going to switch this out and put in. This is my, like, this is the what's it called? A fluid version of a battery that you kind of want to have for when you restart reload the saves. Has very little to do with when the factory is up and running, when the save has run for a little bit. When you load up a save, the problem that can occur is that your, like, some of these buffers, the internal fluid buffers of some of your machines, can just empty. Like, completely empty, and because the machines are also restarting. And when that happens, it's going to need a lot of fuel very quickly. So what we do is we just save up and have a buffer full, so that when the machines suddenly go like, yo, we need a lot right now, before everything started to spool up, they can grab from the buffer without the system accidentally crashing. That's kind of the point. So let's hook this back in. Boom. And yeah. So production is at 13, 650, 640. Yeah, there's something going on over there with the fuel power. So this is going to fill up, and once it does, we will turn it on. But for now, I'm gonna go check on the fuel power, because there's something I've missed over there, obviously. Alright, so we've pulled out all the stops now. And as you can see, I am just like letting all of this fill up again. And I have added in, so first of all, it doesn't need to use Mark II here. We don't have enough fuel on the line for it to be relevant, so why? So I've changed that to Mark I. I've also put in this buffer over here with valves to control the flow direction. And like same as before, I'm making sure that I place the valve first in this case, and then place in the pipe. Otherwise, I can place this on the pipe and then remove pipe and replace it. That's how you make valves, pumps, and junctions function. If you don't have it like this, they will inevitably fail you. So one of the great things you can do, just fix that. But essentially, I'm just going to, just like we've done before, let all of this fill up, let all the pipes saturate all the way back to the pump. And once that is done, I will start them up, and they should run stable. I've checked the other lines, everything else seems to be running smoothly as far as I can see. Isolated some more power that I found that I hadn't done. That has been done, but all of this seems to be running. This one, though, is down to running at 73% stability. 100%. 100%, 74, 73. Okay, so we will need to do the same thing over here, I'm guessing. So I'll be back once I've fixed and make sure that this is running 100% stable. Finally, we are up and running. Everything is running stable. Oh my god. That took a little bit. But now that that is fixed, we have the nuclear power plant left, and then we are going to start turning on all the power in the world and get it up and running in a stable manner. So let's head on over. The nuclear power plant is behind that. I am just gonna see if I can turn down the nuclear crackling sound and stuff like that, so that I don't have to deal with that in editing later. Alright, so we're over here, and I've started my work a little bit. So I've started adding in buffers and moving over this kind of stuff, so that we are collecting all of the nuclear waste from all of the machines, because they should, boom, have like a massive buffer. Like, you don't just like belt into where it's fixed. You always have something like this, so that if something happens, you can fix it later down the line, very simply with a, like, you just like catch up, expand, rebalance, or whatever it is you need to deal with your nuclear waste. This one uses the non-fissile uranium recipe. Non-fissile uranium then goes in, becomes plutonium pellet. So nuclear power in and of itself is quite complex in terms of like production cycles. So if we look at each machine, they have their own input of water. There's like uranium rods and stuff in here, but not in all of them. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to start this up, and then I'm going to look and see where all of the power is going, or rather what's happening. Because you see there's a max consumption of 8,000 megawatts, and it doesn't have the power required to function necessarily. Like, each one of these should give 2,500 megawatts. but not all of them have fuel. And we don't know how stable they are going to run. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in here and I'm going to turn this on, which essentially means that like our grid is going to go up. I'm going to try this first. See? Oh. The nuclear is running. Very nice. The nuclear by itself right now is producing 30,000. Okay. Let's start this one as well. Bada boom. So with everything, this is with only these running. Nothing else is on. With only these running, there is a max consumption of 10,000, a production of 44. That is because not all of it is running the way it should. And as you can see, more and more of this is coming out now that the fuel rods are being depleted. Now, something we need to look at is what is coming in and what is not being used for stuff and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, all of that. Okay, so this, as far as I've understood, they go in, plutonium fuel rods, they can sink them, right? Left output. Okay, that makes no sense. And that's a smart splitter. What the? Okay, so here's what we're going to do. That one stays, that one goes. No need for that. And then to the left, it's going to be overflow. Alright. Easy peasy. And then we look at this. We're getting some concrete in here, right? Concrete. Why is concrete mover over in this direction? Encased industrial beam, stators. That is ultimately making the electromagnetic control rods. Okay. So how much of it does it need? 40 per minute. That's 80. But that's a Mark 1 belt. That doesn't work. Okay. So what we need to do is upgrade. We're gonna be using... Actually, let's go with, like, best practice is always go with the highest level belt and then downgrade as needed instead of the other way around. So... Oh. I don't know if they have the resources to actually build these. But I'm gonna assume that they do. Or that they are at least very close to it. I think I remember seeing some of the Mark 6 belts. Because they also have Mark 1s going in here. Where is that concrete going? It is going in... That's Mark 1 lifts. Okay, that's fine. You're making encased plutonium. That is perfectly fine. How much encased? How much? 20 per minute? 20 per minute, 20 per minute. 12, that's downclocked, okay. But how much are you making? 30, 21, okay. That works. So the belts are fast enough there. And... yeah, so the plutonium should start being made soon. So let's look at the fuel rods. Uranium fuel rods. You need the encased industrial beams. And you need uranium cells. Okay, they also need the concrete. Are you getting enough concrete? 15. 15. Nothing underclocked here. a lot of this comes down to I have to go through and make sure that all of the production is actually like saturated, that all of the parts are actually being made and powered by this system. So I should be able to shut down all the other power, and this system should still be able to run, essentially. So that's exactly what we are aiming for. Okay, so I've gone over all parts of the production here, and I've overclocked a ton of stuff. Essentially, I want to overproduce everything that produces the fuel. I want to overproduce everything that means that I can deal with the fuel and like convert it. So all of that is overclocked. I've switched out some belts because there were too low speeds and fixed all of that kind of stuff. So now we are actually producing stuff at the right speeds. So if we look here, oh, no, some stuff here, okay, it's because it's backed up. So what we can do for some stuff like here, like this for example, just like overclock it out the wazoo, as Kibitz would say, although my pronunciation and accent is not as humorous as his. This means that we get like a lot more electromagnetic rods, right? And 20 per minute for 3 of these, like maxed out. That's Mark 3, and then yeah, not Mark 3 belts. Why is it moving so slow? Or is it just that I'm so used to seeing the Mark 6 belt now? No, but either way, like everything is up and running. I've been letting it run for a while, making sure that the like waste is actually being processed and being like removed, and as you can see, it's going down. And now I've also produced a ton, an absolute metric ton of uranium fuel rods. I have spawned them in, I'll be like honest with that, because I can't wait for this small amount to make 1 per minute. Even if I double that, it would take too long to let all of this fill up and saturate and everything. But yeah, I've basically filled up a couple of containers to make sure that we have everything. And now we're gonna plug this in, because I could fix, this should be a load balancer, not a manifold. The way that they've manifolded it here is gonna cause problems, but now we're doing this instead. Bada boom, bada bing, bada boom. And that means we are now good to go with all the power. So as you can see now, everything is coming up nuclear. This setup produces 150 nuclear waste per minute. This, before I overclocked it, dealt with 150 per minute. Now it deals with a lot more per minute. So that is definitely going away. All we have to keep an eye on is to make sure that the other material here is coming in as fast as we need it to. And I've overclocked all of this, so we are getting more of that too. So we are so very, very productive over here. Now, something that makes me like weird, I'm going like, what's up here? Is that the entire grid is supposed to be able to run 60,000 megawatts. It's not. Which makes me think that I have missed something. Or that like they miscalculated. Either way, it means that we can now start like firing stuff up and see how well it works. So let's go into the circuit break priority and start with the Golden Coast Pew Pew. It means that consumption is going up a little bit. You can see over here as it is turning on that factory. And it's nowhere near our capacity. So let's heavy modular frames. There was a fuse blown. No. No fuses blown here. Not allowed. And it's because some of the separate grids have their fuse blown. Every time we start them, a fuse is gonna blow. I'm gonna have to start it up. And let's see. This was a grid over by the main hub thing. let's start you up. Fuse blown again. No. There we go. Suddenly max consumption goes up a lot because that was probably the main drain on the system. The converters and what's it called? Yeah, like all that kind of stuff. Over by there. Let's go for the central, like rocky desert part. Fuse blown again. So many fuses blown. Boom. Fuse is not blown. It just telling me I'll play for 6 hours and I got scared. No, it's up and running. Right now it's consuming 10,000, 11,000 out of 45. And we have plenty of space. There's a package fuel. Let's go for just starting some of these. And just start up. Boom. Here we go. So consumption is still not very high. Like the maximum consumption is getting up here now, but the actual consumption is pretty low. So now that all of those are on, let's see. There's a bunch of smaller ones here. I'm just gonna start all of this. Maximum consumption is a lot higher than our production, but the actual consumption is still pretty low. Let's see how that changes. Consumption stays pretty low. The maximum consumption is pretty high. Let's see if we smash this on as well. This is the big one. Let's go on again. It is running. Consumption is kicking up. Trains are going to start running now again. But essentially, as far as I know, everything should be running. And I'm going to do like a final check around the network to see if there are stuff with red sticks on them that is saying like, hey, I don't have the material, I don't have the power, I don't have the recipe set, whatever it is. And essentially, that is the final thing we're looking at. Because if everything's running, everything's running. We can't do more than that. Alright, I've done a full lap of the world, and aside from that little thing that I didn't like actually find before, for some reason I skipped over that entirely, and everything else is completely up and running. Yeah, that's up and running too. I've just separated with the power switch now. So completely overhauled the power network in this world because it's what it needed to run. So what do we have in the end when we look at the power network? What is the numbers, the actual numbers when everything is up and running? We're looking at a max consumption of almost 100,000 megawatts. That makes sense. We have a actual consumption of up to 19,000. We have a production of 64,080 and a capacity of 65. And we have a power boost because of the power augmenters because there's 2 of them. That's a 20% boost in the network. That is 10,680 megawatts extra. That is where you get to the 64,000 megawatts. And yeah, so essentially what I would recommend is for them to, when they get back up and running properly and have all their stuff like nailed down, is to increase the production of what's it called? Uranium fuel rods, and then like make sure that like focus entirely on getting the nuclear power overclocked 100% or to like 250%, so that you get 6,000 megawatts per facility or per like buildable, because then you will have a lot more power, and because of the alien power augmenters, that will be even more. Yeah, you can see where it's going, right? My rules implemented here works perfectly. Separate every single power generating system, make sure that it can run isolated, and then connect it in, give it a high priority, make sure that every factory or every production line has a priority power switch, if you really want like a very clean, very easy way of doing things, there's no such thing as connecting straight from this into a factory. You go from a power tower into a priority power switch, then out to whatever else you're doing. You name it and you place it in the priority system. Like now I've made it like this because I don't know this world, so everything's here. But if you were to shut down everything else here, all of this would still be able to run. No problem. So that is like, it's gonna be running in perpetuity. Like, no, nothing's gonna stop that. But the rest of the factories can be shut down. You can go overboard with power usage, and like the priority switch kicks in and goes like nope and shuts things down. This place will still be running. The fuel factories or fuel generators will still be running. The coal generators will still be running. And that is because of the priority power switches and how you wire things up. So, like, people need to start thinking about their wiring the same way they think about all the other logistics, because that is what it is. And you can't just randomly, like, oh, I want here, and just do let's game it out and just smack in a splitter and think that you have enough resources. Like, that works for low-grade things, but it does definitely not work for, like, nuclear power plants. So, keep that in mind. Thank you so much for watching today. I love that you've been here. Thank you so much for all the support I've been getting. I have over 1,600 subscribers now. It's insane. There's like hundreds of people in my Discord. I don't know where you guys came from, but thank you. And if you guys want to see more of this kind of stuff where I'm fixing people's saves, you can bring me your broken saves. And like now I've spent like 6 hours fixing this. That's a little bit too long, but if you have like a facility you can't get working, a production line, a power setup, like if it's fluid, if it's power, if it's production, whatever it is, if you have a save, even if you have figured it out or I will help you figure it out, send it to me, because I can still make, like, it can still be a good learning experience. And you can send it in the Discord. Just pop up, go like, hey, what do I do with the save? And I will help you. So I will see you guys in the Discord. And if you want to support Patreon, YouTube membership, down in the description, there are links. With that said, thank you so much for being here. Have a great one, everyone. Bye!